Well, IG actually actually not looking to be the favorites this game. Newbee take over at 1.78. They changed quick.
Oh yeah, it's rough. I think IG has got to step up their game here. They have to play around the timings of that Faceless Void, of the duels coming out from the Legion Commander to ensure they get that snowball start. The moment Newbie hits 6 on all 3 heroes, almost like game 1, the same story, when they hit 6 on their Phoenix, their Treant, their Mars, they were just all over the place. The same thing's going to happen here. Level 6 in the Pango, level 6 in the Clock with a hook shot, level 6 in the Winter Wyvern with a Curse, and they're just always going to force that issue out. And IG have much stricter timings here because they have to play around Chronosphere in particular. That's a long cooldown throughout the entire game. It's never going to go short until maybe you pick up something to make it short, like perhaps not even the Ags does that now. So you're just stuck with that long cooldown unless you get a refresh, and that tends to be like a very last item for the Void. So IG is going to be limited in terms of how often they can pump that aggression out. Newbie, not so. Just as long as they hit that level 6, as long as they don't get overwhelmed in the laning phase, then everything's just going to go just fine for them, I feel.
Yeah, can't disagree with you on that though. We are going to find out soon enough as, well, bot lane, Faith. Battery Assault level 1 harasses out the Fly Void a little bit, but he'll be okay. He'll just time walk out of there safely. Interesting lane here with Faith on the clock, and he'll have Mugi there in the off-lane Nature's Prophet. Should be a bit of an annoying lane for Fly on that Void, because this Prophet can just harass out quite a bit with that auto attack. You do have Ollie there on the Ogre, but as you can see, Faith appears to be keeping him busy already.
Yeah, it's a bit interesting that Ollie didn't opt to try to fight him. I think the only winning move when a Clockwork's trying to battery assault you is just to right-click him back with the Ogre Magi, because you have pretty good base damage, you have better armor, so you can cop through those hits a bit better. Still though, it is just going to be an even trade so far, but Fly is copying a lot more from the right clicks on Newbee.
He has a time walk, he'll be alright, but like you said, he's going to be burning through a lot of regen quite quickly. Mid lane, AQ is going to be there up against Emo. Emo should have somewhat of an advantage with the Flame Guard, but of course AQ is probably knows this matchup very well. Like, as a TA player, you tend to go through this a lot. AQ should be just perfectly fine in being able to catch up in farm, even if he does fall behind. But for now, he's keeping up quite well. It's top lane. Wizard and YG going to be there on the Wyvern and Pango. Kaka and JT going to be trying to contest, and this also should be a pretty rough lane for Wizard, right? Like, although the Pango has Swashbuckle to get away, there's just so much harass potential from this LC, from this Skywrath. It's not going to be easy to keep that regen up. And Wizard, he does have the Ring of Tarask at least, which does help. In fact, never mind that, because mid lane there is a fight going on. AQ and Emo falling very low. But both will salve up, both barely walking away with their lives intact.
Yeah, just a lot of aggression coming out. You do have that level 3 mark on both heroes. That's when they really start to pump out the damage. And it's a question of who can cop more. I think overall, the Ember Spirit's going to be feeling a bit better because there's no real way for AQ to take off that Flame Guard. No magic damage coming out at this point. So he should be able to get that extra damage off every single time. And you see Kaka go down mid.
AQ falling low, but he'll have YG rotating in. And we saw YG yesterday. He is very quick with the rotations. And I believe it was a Winter Wyvern we saw where he just continued to save AQ's life over and over again with the Cold Embrace. This time he doesn't go for the level 1 Cold Embrace, but regardless, just his presence alone appears to be enough to force them back.
Yeah, and I like seeing this coming out from YZ. He goes for that pull as well, so he's trying to get the stacks up while he's there, and of course, RTAs do love clearing out those stacks, so it's an overall investment here for AQ.
AQ, though, falling quite low, and Emo should be able to clean him up. First blood will go to Kaka on the Skywrath. Emo now just going to try and run away from YG. He had the Splinter Blast, but the Flame Guard was still up, so he doesn't bother wasting the mana. And that'll be first blood to the way of IG.
Yeah, it's a nice little pickup for them. They are investing heavily on this mid. They have kept Kaka around for a bit longer. But the same could be said for Newbee. YC is not going to be leaving this lane as long as he knows that Skyrat Mage is still hanging around.
Does make it a bit awkward for Wizard on the Pango, because, I mean, it's already hellish enough trying to go against an LC in the offlane, but when you're solo up against an LC, it becomes that much worse. You just can't trade harass effectively up against this kind of hero who has so many ways of healing himself back up. We'll see how Wizard does deal with it. Kaka has also not really left the mid lane. He's sticking around, he's placing some wards down, grabs a double damage rune, and will start rotating over to the bot lane now, where he may go for a quick gank attempt with Ollie and the Void. In fact, never mind, he'll just stick mid. Whoa. I think your microphone went a bit haywire there, John.
Yeah, I think I must have pulled it a bit, but Kaka is being chased down.
Yeah, he is. YG going to be there to ensure he protects AQ. And AQ, I mean, he's doing what he needs to do. He's farming jungle stacks when he can. Kaka making the very smart play of just being there every time, but with YG around, it's too hard to actually keep this TA on her toes. Though bot lane, Fly sprouted up very low in HP and just used Time Walk, but Mugi has no follow-up to it. Fly, he's okay, but he's going to be left with no regen. And Mugi is going to abuse with the Sprout. Once again, Fly, he'll use the Quelling. Treants to follow. Fly will be okay, but Faith is now chasing. He does have Battery Assault Cogs, but he may have to just settle with going onto Ollie, who was blocking his path. But you'd argue this is kind of worse for Fly anyway, because he's forced to run all the way back to the fountain. You'd rather almost just die.
Yeah, it's a rough time for our Void. Like, that laning phase is not going well. Down mid, they do find YZ. I mean, he was left alone there on the Winter Wyvern while the TA is farming up. Still, like, the Void's not having a good time. That bot lane for IG is just getting worse as well. Ollie dropping very low.
He throws an Ignite out, but he's got no way to survive this Faith. Just diving underneath the T1 with all those creeps he had. And Mugi now going to be chased a little bit, but you got the Cogs push back. Fly understands there's no chance anyway. As you look up into that top lane, Kaka will also get caught off guard by AQ. He's still trying to follow on this TA and disrupt her farm. Thing is, AQ is level 6 now. So he can definitely easily fight back against the level 4 Skyrath.
Definitely. It's not the hardest target to just right-click down. I like the dedication and the investment from IG to shut down that TA, though. They have been keeping a lot of presence in that jungle. They have blocked out a couple of camps and kept good vision around the map. And they're getting a shove in down mid, so they don't want this tower to be up running for Newbee any longer.
Faith falls very low. Maybe just not expecting the Chains to be up at this early on in the game. Ollie now gonna be chased down, so they will trade. Thing is, Emo was the one who picked up the Clockwork kill, where YG was the one who picked up Ollie.
Lizard.
Top lane, getting jeweled up. He's gonna get the Rolling Thunder off just in time, and Mugi, he's rotated up onto Kaka, and poor old Kaka can't go anywhere. He's gonna try running towards the east, but it will be to no avail as the Rolling Thunder comes back in from Wizard. And that's going to make it a 3-4 for Newbee, and you can already see it's almost a mirror matchup of Game 1, where Newbee just finding these aggressive plays before that 10-minute mark.
Yeah, Newbee has just kind of, been finding these bigger kills, so...
He'll be okay, he time walks away.
But yeah, you are seeing Newbee respond to IG's movement quite well. I think overall, Newbee's going to be much happier about this. That was the first duel attempt coming out from IG. They're nowhere near having Kaka hit level 6. They don't have the Chronosphere up and running yet, so they can't go for any aggressive moves themselves. And it's going to take some time for them to ramp up. Look, even if Newbee is nowhere near their level 6s as well and their supports, just by the nature of their cores, they can have a lot of a stronger presence on the map. And that's going to be enough to at least dictate the pace of this game very early on. Again, IG has to play around these cooldowns. You can't do that when they're not even up yet.
Up at the top jungle. AQ going to get caught out. Concussive shot is going to be there. And Emo with the Flame Guard going to burn through those refraction charges so quick, though. Kaka just gets bursted down so quick. But Emo does find the kill, and now Wizard gonna rotate around, and he does have the Rolling Thunder, but you do have Remnants available on Emo, so he should easily be able to get out, and he does. But I love the fact that AQ, he just pops the Refraction, gets that bonus damage, and 2 shots the Skywrath.
Yeah, it's so much damage coming out from this TA, and again, the Skywrath Mage is just not a very tanky hero. I can understand trying to scout out that TA. I think the moment you're caught out as the Sky, up against a hero like that, you just kind of have to give in. They do find the bigger kill in the end, of course. Like, slowing down the TA is a much bigger win than losing your Sky, and they are going to be able to get some more damage down mid. Probably not enough to clean it up entirely, but slowly but surely, you know, they're making sure that this tier 1 doesn't have too long left, and that is just going to allow them easier access into the jungle to keep track of AQ.
It's one of the bonuses of having that that early level on Bloodlust as well, right? You just get that much more attack speed, and those towers just melt that much faster. Emo now, with that Bloodlust, he has a bit of time left. He's going to start rotating towards the east side Dire jungle, but Faith is going to be there to scout him out. Chains will be there, but he has plenty of help around though. Moogie actually TP's out of there, and poor Faith, he's been left alone now. Emo going to continue the chase, and this should be an easy pickup for him, though it looks like Ollie has been jumped on. He'll survive, but top lane, JT now going to get caught out on the LC. They want to find a huge trade for that Clockwork kill, but JT is a very tanky target. He TP's away. YG doesn't have the curse yet. It's halfway there to level 6, but not quite, and they will find nothing for their Clockwork dying.
That's one of the weaknesses of the draft Newbee does have. They do lack in terms of hard disables. When you don't have the Rolling Thunder, or if it doesn't land, you miss out. You don't land. You don't have the Clockwork round for the battery assault, or the Cogs push or the hook shot, you miss out. And of course, it takes a while for Winter Wyvern to get that Winter's Curse up. So they don't have any real steady way of getting that stun out, and compare that to, at very least, the availability of control on IG. They've got the chains, they've got the Fire Blast from their Ogre, so they have options there for stopping those TPs, but Newbee, the moment you lose your Clockwork for the most part, well, that's pretty much gone.
Absolutely. Both teams going to take a bit of time to just farm. Of course, with this TA, you want to at least get a Deso or Blink up before you start pushing in towers. And well, for now, AQ has the Blink to be queued up first, so it looks like he wants to get aggressive with his team earlier than you'd expect from a TA. Fly going to be followed by YG. But he'll be okay. He has Chrono up as well as a Mask of Madness, so definitely a scary target to try and jump on, especially if you do have that Winter Wyvern caught in the Chrono. Maintain a 1k net worth lead on IG's side of things. There is going to be a rotation. Emo and Ollie were smoked up, but it does break. They'll run in onto AQ, Remnant forward, but the trap's already there, and look at these rotations. YG straight away on the Wyvern. I mean, that wasn't even a second reaction time. He was there instantly.
Oh yeah, it's just Newbee's, you know, commitment to saving AQ every single time. They actually even cancel off their own smoke attempt on Flyer, so they don't manage to really get that, although he's still hanging around. Fate's still in the area as well.
Bot lane. Oops, the Cogs.
Oh,
Faith gonna miss a hook shot onto the Void still. Chrono gonna be dropped, but he can't hit anyone. He's been disarmed by Lucky Shot, and now Moogie gonna come in on the Prophet. A Lucky Bash from Fly. He's still running away, but the Sprout again. He's gonna Queen Blade through it, and now the Curse. JT, he got too close. Rolling Thunder from Wizard, controlling up Emo. Disarmed again. They purge it off. He jumps back in. He goes after YG, but he's only got one Remnant left. He'll use it now. Can they hold him down? Not quite. But you found the Void. And that's really all you wanted if you were Newbee. You're definitely not going to mind losing that pos 5 Wyvern. And even that Wyvern, it was not an easy pickup. Like, Emo had to risk his life for that kill.
Yeah, it's rough right now for IG. They lose their Void. They don't really have a successful first Chrono. They weren't really even ready to maximize that Chrono. Like, Kako was nowhere nearby, and he has the Mystic Flare up. We're at 13.5 minutes in. You've got level 2 duel on JT, and we haven't seen a successful duel yet. We haven't seen that dual Mystic Flare coming out from IG, they've just been satisfied to really just take it slow for a bit. They haven't been able to find the right targets, and at this rate, it's going to be hard for them to get that snowball they want. You know, there's only so much time in a game of Dota 2 that if you don't find these early kills, it's going to be hard for you to find the time and space later on.
On the brighter side, at least JT has farmed very well. He's almost got the halberd up, and that's going to be a bit frustrating for this TA. So AQ does have the blink up now, and we'll be going into the Deso next. But none of that's going to matter once JT has the halberd. Well, he basically has it up. He needs about 150 gold. Once you see that come out is when you'll see IG trying to make another smoke rotation. So they may have to react a bit faster than that, because now Newbee, with Mugi down pot, they're going to start pushing this T2 bot tower. And they're going to rotate at least Emo down, but YG's in the tree line waiting for his chance to curse. Wizard going to show himself. Swashbuckle gets the disarm off. Chains going to be thrown out, but the T2 does go down. Still Emo sticking around and man fighting this as Wizard. They got the T2, so they don't really want to have to fight, but YG is still waiting for the rest of IG to rotate to get that curse off. And IG, they've smoked up. Making their way in. Curse has been used preemptively. Wizard going to go in with the Rolling Thunder. They hold Emo down, but not long enough. Faith. He couldn't get the hook shot off in time. JT now jumping in with the LC. They have the Jewel, but not with Battery Assault. You don't want to use it at that. Mystic Flare, though, going to be dropped on the Jewel. It will be on Mugi. They'll find two so far. And now, Fly, well, they'll find Faith. A great team fight from IG. And it looks like it could have gone a lot worse, but IG, they made the smarter play. Instead of TPing to the tier 2 or smoking directly down the bot lane, they ran through the Radiant jungle. And YG just didn't have the patience. He used the curse on the solo Ember. And as you saw, John, unfortunately Faith, with that hook shot, didn't quite land.
Yeah, a lot of things just not lining up there for Newbee, but IG managing to make the most of it. They finally get the dual win onto JT. They've got the Chronosphere still up and ready to go from Fly as well. So you've got these tools still available for IG, and Newbee can be hurting just a bit from that.
Another team fight though. JT, he has Jewel up. He wants to go forward. Mugi, he'd be a lovely target. Emo does actually miss his chains, but it may not matter. Sprout Jewel, it does come off in time with the Mystic Flare. Now Wizard getting caught out. Rolling Thunder will come out in time. And he'll just roll away. But you found the main target. You found that pesky Nature's Prophet that haunted you during game 1. You got some extra Jewel damage. IG, I think they're going to be more than happy with this.
Definitely. You have to remember, though, that while all of this is happening for Newbee, they're still waiting for AQ to get ready to jump in. He's number 1 in net worth right now. We haven't seen the impact he can have in these fights. Is flying out his Desolator. So this might be the point where he's feeling a lot more confident with the Blink Deso up and ready to go at 16, 17 minutes in. It's going to be really hard to stay alive when that damage is up and ready to go.
That's the thing though, right? He does have the Deso now. But again, like, JT has the Halberd. So until you get that BKB up, I'm not sure if this is even going to be, like, that effective. Assuming JT's around the fight, of course. Suppose only time will tell. So JT is going to start forcing in the top tier 2. Meanwhile, Newbee are starting to rotate into that mid lane where the T1 is still standing. With this TA Deso, it should be a very fast T1 that they could take. Q already putting a lot of traps down through that tree line. They seem to know he's there, but they don't really have a chance to defend. So Newbee do finally claim that T1 mid. However,
Yeah, that's...
a Roshan? No. I thought IG may be trying to sneak a Roshan while that was happening, but they think better of it though. Newbee. Grouped up. Faith, Rocket Flare, but Fly hiding in the tree line. Chrono, he's going to catch all 3 of them with the Mystic Flare, and they just blow him up. Fly. Perfect positioning and a perfect Chrono, and Newbee will lose 3.
Yeah, that's going to allow them to take the Roche now. No way to counterplay that for Newbee. No buyback under Pango. That's the big one. And their clockwork is going to be up in about 10 seconds. They don't have the TP point on their outpost. So this Roche is just going to go the way of IG now, and that's going to be a massive win for them. They get a lot of big kills from that one Chrono, and this is exactly what you want to see from IG. As long as they can keep getting big fights like that, using the Chrono every time it's off cooldown, and catching out at least 2 heroes, they can certainly just build up and snowball back in as they do retake the lead. It's 1k advantage, not too much to speak of, but certainly still higher than Newbee right now. AQ, at some point he's going to have to step up. Like, he's saving for the BKB now, but you can see that Newbee is just not comfy to let their TA out.
Well, top lane, they may have to be there to defend. It's Emo. On fire right now in December. Looking to make more plays. He went for that early drums. He has a plate mail up, and he's actually rushing a Shiver's Guard. Yeah, looks like that'll be it. IG, they don't want to push it any further. There's no real need for it. They back out. And now you've got to blink up on JT to boot. So you can always make a smoke rotation with that new blink, and Newbee really shouldn't be expecting it to be available.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for Newbee now. They are very vulnerable to the initiation that IG has. They don't have any big defensive items yet in MV for Hero.
Wizard getting caught out. A nice curse from YG. They're going to turn this. Firefly falling low, rolling thunder. It's not enough. He can time walk this damage off, or at least a little bit of it, though. Hook shot from Faith is going to find Ollie. So they should be able to get this position 5 kill. They were very, very close to picking off Firefly, but it just wasn't enough to Sable in the end. And IG, they have Chrono in 20 seconds. They may look to make another play.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for Newbee. I really like the blocking coming out from IG. You saw our Ogre just really blocked the way. They couldn't get the clean hook shot onto that Void, and that just allowed Fly to get out right in time before any danger could come into him.
They'll grab the top tier 2. Manta now up on the Void, Firefly, and well, how's our TA doing? AQ trying to rush that BKB, and I think he understands. Without the BKB, he's really got no chance of helping his team. Does have a nice Imp Claw for himself, which certainly helps with that damage burst, but gonna need help soon as Wizard gonna get caught out. Did he just cancel his own TP? No, he got chained.
Yeah.
Kaka ends up getting taken down by AQ top lane, and JT as well also ends up going down. Mugi picks up that kill, so although they found a nice kill on Wizard, they'll lose 2 of their own on the side of IG.
It's not the worst trade in the world for Newbee. At the very least, they do find something to compensate for that just a bit more, and that is going to keep the game relatively close still. 14-9, 1k lead going the way of IG, and Newbee, they smoke up. They know the LC and the Mystic Flare from that Skyrat Mage isn't around. They're going to try to find a big target. They have to be careful of Fly, though. Like, he's not nearby, but if he comes in with a Chrono, then this initiation's just ruined.
He's also got that 10-second BKB charge, and Faith with a perfect hook. And AQ with that Imp Claw, critting for about 800 damage almost. The Emo now going to jump in, but there's a Prophet Orchid available, and Emo has no way to dispel that, so he loses the Aegis, but now Firefly has Chrono, goes in onto Mugi with that Mystic Flare. They claim the kill, and they should be able to find this Clockwork as well. Faith, no way out of this one. He doesn't even have mana for the cogs. So they found a pos 5, but it cost them quite dearly.
JT
with the duel as well. YG being the 3rd death for the side of Newbee. IG, I mean, it's a back and forth, but IG is certainly finding the much better victories, I would say.
Definitely. They are starting to really leverage themselves up. They didn't even expend Chrono again in that last fight, so Fly still has that tool up and ready to go. Newbee, it doesn't feel like they're tanky enough to withstand the damage coming out from IG right now. They have no way of counteracting that so far. They've got the BKBs up on their TA and NP, but it's not really useful when you don't even get to turn them on and just right-click, you know? Like, that last fight, they didn't use those BKBs at all. Like, it was just there, and you couldn't get anything done, although...
Faith, he hits a creep. He's still got the cogs off, but LC is healthy. He can heal up, and now the Chrono. Fly. They TP the TA into the Chrono. AQ is getting bashed up. He pops the BKB. Fly has to be careful. It's a lot of damage. He'll mantra it off. Run away with the time walk. AQ still chasing. Meanwhile, a duel in the backlines. Fly does end up going down, but YG gives a duel away. And now Kaka, he gets AQ on the TA. Newbee, though, they want to keep moving forward. But who do you go for? It looks like the only option is going to be Ollie on the Ogre. Should be able to find him. Ollie tries to hide in the tree line. And I believe that was actually a buyback coming out for AQ for that triple. In fact, I thought AQ died.
Yeah, he did, but it was long enough that he's fine. You know,
Really?
No, he actually didn't. He didn't die. He didn't die.
Oh, okay.
He didn't die earlier on.
My bad.
So, even with that TP into the Chrono, it looked pretty rough for IG at first. But there wasn't enough damage. They managed to get the split out Newbee. They managed to isolate certain elements of IG far enough that the damage wasn't there from Fly. So he couldn't initially burst down the TA, and that was enough. They got the split off they needed to, that Newbee needed to get done. And that did allow them to... Oh, that's scary. That did allow them to get enough work done. It's hard now for IG. They had to expend a Chronosphere there as well. They didn't manage to find that tier 2 tower. So Newbee's going to be feeling a lot better for themselves, giving themselves a slight net worth advantage. Less than 1k, 18 to 13, 25 minutes in. I think they're going to need a couple more items before they're really going to be comfy. The biggest issue is Mugi. His farm just doesn't feel too good. He is ahead of our Faceless Void, but it doesn't feel like he's had as much impact in these fights as he did last time. So perhaps it's going to take a little bit more time. He hasn't been able to really play the split push game that we saw in game 1 as well. So it does feel like a bit of a slower start for him.
Emo, he catches out the Pango again. Wizard, how do you get out of this? The Fire Blast, Mystic Flare coming in, though there's the Curse. YG there to save the day, and JT actually going down up at the top lane. And now they'll go for more. Wizard, he got the Rolling Thunder. He's not able to find anybody. Hook shot.
Faith.
He does end up catching Ollie once again, this poor Ogre. Gonna try and run away. Mugi now, he'll TP into the back going after Kaka, and that Orchid should tick him out. Mugi, he finds enough damage. Ollie gets crit for so much damage by AQ. And Newbee just giving it back to IG. They do have the Roshan open to them. In fact, never mind, they don't. I thought it was up, but it's still 25 seconds till we find out when it is going to be up. So instead, Fly going to fight mid. Wizard getting caught out with those chains, and the bash is flying out with the remnants, and Wizard cannot sustain the damage. But they are going to start forcing in the top tier 2. Fly he wants to commit the Chrono, it seems, but he goes back to farming instead.
It's really interesting that Newbee is playing this way. They just throw Wizard in the front, they let him cop all the damage in the world. He's not a particularly tanky Pango just yet, so there is a big risk there. A little Fly.
Oh, hook shot. Faith! He just finds it from a mile away. Manta's there. Chrono, but the rocket flare! Oh, he got it off just in time. And now JT, he jumps in with Emo. But how are you going to take this fight? Well, with the double chains, you can start it off. Jewel is going to be there. Faith dies, but again, the curse. YG, although Mugi hurting himself because of the blade mail, it seems. In fact, it wasn't even a blade mail. JT was just attacking away. Mugi, he does go down. It looked like a great start. They found Fly with a huge hook from Faith. But they'll lose 3 in the process.
I think that's a fair trade. They only lost... Did he lose 3? It looked like they lost 2.
It was 3 with Wizard earlier on, but it was 2 after they went for Fly.
Yeah, I reckon it's a fine trade if you just lose 2 in that. And you're going to be happy enough. Fly is a pretty big issue right now. You're not going to be too happy about bleeding Mugi off, but I think it's a worthwhile trade for a Faceless Void. You managed to bait out the Chrono as well, so that tool's not going to be up and running for IG. That leaves them with less ways of starting these fights, and that should allow some openings for Newbee if they so choose. And they have been playing a bit more aggressively now. In fact, A bit dangerous in that jungle. They don't really have the best vision. IG, with a superior vision in that dire side jungle, could take advantage of this, but again, without the Chronosphere, probably going to play a bit safer on IG side.
Yeah. You've got AQ there with the butterfly now, so he wants to try and make some work happen though. Emo, double chains coming up, Mystic Flare onto AQ. He's forced to BKB, but they'll just remnant away. You waste another BKB charge of the TA. That was actually her 9-second charge that was just used up. And for a TA, every charge matters. Like, if you're not finding huge kills with those BKB charges, it is quite detrimental.
Yeah, and IG, they take this chance to smoke up. Still no Chrono, but they've got the duel.
They have Blade Mail up on JT as well, so you have a lot of damage potential coming out from this LC now. Especially with Mugi, who is hitting quite hard with just his auto attacks. Faith. Remembrance forward, Emo does eventually spot him out. He'll try to TB, but it's going to be to no avail. Emo still have the chains. And JT going to wait around for the duel attempt. Faith has nowhere to go.
Oh?
Faith buying back. Looks like
For the
because the
Roshan.
Roshan could happen. They just started, so of course Newbee can't really afford to let this Rosh go down with the draft like theirs, because you are very reliant on picking up that Aegis. IG though, they just waste the buyback of that clock. They just back out happily. In fact, they might find Wizard. Concussive shot. Ancient Seal. Fly does have the Chrono, but just not willing to commit yet. I think they're just going to probably hold on to that for the next Roshan fight. The JT, hook shot, Faith, barely misses. Probably lucky he did as well, because the rest of the IG side was right behind him. JT looking for a duel. YG would be a fantastic one, and he has a gem as well. Mystic Flare, but he's copying a lot of damage right now from AQ, and now the Chrono. Fly. He catches 3 of them, going after the TA, and instead says, no, let me go for Wizard. But there's the curse from YG. He bought back on the Wyvern. Wizard needs to roll out of there. He will. He'll come back in after Emo. They need as much disable as they can get, an AQ with the double damage rune active does burst him down, and now Mugi teleporting forward, looking for more. They'd love this Void, and Mugi will spot him out. But instead, try to force some buybacks out of IG and get a Roshan for yourself. Without Chrono, it's not going to be easy to try and counter this. Emo going to go in straight after YG. Curse not going to be available this time around. Mystic Flare straight onto Faith, so the clock dies back. And well, with that, they'll jump onto AQ. Yule's going to be up. Mugi pops his own BKB. The Roshan also apparently went down. Who got the Aegis though? It was the TA. And with that IG, they've had enough. Or maybe they haven't. Fly. Thinking about going back in, but he doesn't have Chrono.
Yeah, it's one of the downsides, again, of IG's draft. They have to wait around at Chrono. And, you know, right now, Fly has to really choose his targets right. He has to grab 2 of these saving graces that Newbee has. Has to grab YC, and has to grab Mugi in. When you don't catch that Nature's Prophet, we saw it in the last fight, Sprout stops you from attacking people because they're protected by trees. At this point, you're not carrying around a Quelling Blade. You didn't go for a Battle Fury, of course. So you have no way of breaking those trees. And Mugi saved AQ, which turned that fight for Newbee, just by putting that Sprout under the Chronosphere. So you've got to really watch out now with that Chrono. If you're, and you know, make sure you commit to the right target, because once you're caught down like that, you waste a really big spell that you're relying on for these team fights.
That's very true. Just such a simple thing, but you know, Sprout, you wouldn't think it'd be that detrimental in this stage of the game, but apparently it is. Mugi just spotting out that Quelling Blade wasn't there any longer, and now it's smoke, but it's immediately broken on Emo. AQ waiting in the meld, and Emo gonna get stunned up. Still, he will slide a fist away, but there is a hook shot there onto JT. Blade mail pop. They're still going fly. He has Chrono in 9 seconds, but JT is falling way too quick, and he does go down, as well as that Kaka and Emo being lost, and now the curse. They find Ollie on the Ogre. Newbee looking to go forward again. Fly, he has the Chrono, but he knows he can't fight this, so Ollie understands he's just gonna die. And they rush down to the bot tier 3. You do have 2 buybacks available on IG. There's the first one. Ollie just holding out on the Ogre. Fly standing behind with the Chrono. They're going to go for the tier 4s. Newbee, they can't afford to wait with this draft. Straight in. There's 1 tier 4 gone. Ollie, he has brought back. You have Kaka in about 9 seconds. They've just got to buy as much time as possible. But look at this Void. He's just wasting and kiting this time of Newbee. Chrono's still up, but now the Ancient's going down. LC jumps in with the Jewel, with the Blade Mail. Now the Chrono. He's caught 3 of them with the Mystic Flare. There goes Faith. Ancient, though, still exposed. AQ surviving, taking down JT through the Jewel, and now the Ancient, it's not going to survive. Newbee